What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're doing our full playthrough of the brand new treasure map Nami. Now, I've already talked about it extensively on my stream that I had today when this went live. But this is going to be one of the most difficult treasure maps that we've had thus far. Now, the treasure map in and of itself isn't actually that difficult. It's the fact that our boosted list is quite poor. We don't have a lot of units that remove special bind, which is one of the most annoying debuffs to get around on the Nami stage. You know, if Nami didn't actually have those mob characters on her final boss stage, I don't think this really would have been that difficult, but the fact that she does have mobs, and they do really annoying things, and you can't really get rid of the special bind unless if you have those specific summonable characters, your teams are not going to be very point optimized, which is very, very difficult. And I mean, in this video today, I'm going to show you guys the units that I've been using to clear this so far. I have changed up my teams a little bit since when I started streaming. I've changed some units around, shuffled some things around, but overall, these teams are working very, very well. I'm quite comfortable with them. As I get into later nav levels, I'll probably have to go ahead and change them up once again, but so far so good. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So currently I'm on nav level 13, so this is going to be my 13th run in this treasure map. Yeah, so far so good. So there are 4 different bosses. There's Brownbeard, Blackbeard, Whitebeard, and Rayleigh. People have been asking, you know, which boss should I clear in the mid-map? And it really does come down, like always, to, you know, what kind of units you have, which bosses you find most difficult. It really does come down to that because, you know, if you don't have the right boosters, one boss might be difficult compared to another person. And we'll talk about all these bosses when we get into it. I can see that on the left side there is an attack down debuff, and I want to avoid them at all costs. I really do not want to get any attack down debuffs, especially on a map like this where there is no intrusion battle, there's no treasure mode bird, and the treasure mode birds I really love because number one, you get a lot more points and allows you to clear the bosses much easier because you get more stat boost, and that really makes a big difference. So, you know, if you get the treasure mode stat boost, but you also get attack down, it really isn't as bad as you know, what it would be. But the fact that we don't have the treasure bird this time is quite annoying. And the rewards actually go all the way up to 7 million. So you can get up to 3 red characters in this treasure map. You can get one at 3, 5, and 7 million on New World, that is. And also something to note as well is that the Super Evolution of Cavendish is available this treasure map. Make sure to get to 1.5 million points because at that stage you are rewarded with all the 5 skulls that you need to super evolve him. Even if you don't have Cavendish, you need to pick them up. Otherwise, you know, they'll never come back. On the Japanese version, I don't believe they've ever like been re-released. So this is the only time that you can get them. So make sure to go ahead and do that. Anyways, the first boss that we're taking on is Blackbeard. So the team I'm using here is a V2 Katakuri team. This team is actually like just stupid in terms of damage output. It's pretty strong, so we're gonna get into it. But Blackbeard, honestly, he's a pretty straightforward boss because the thing about him is he changes all your orbs into block orbs when you enter that final stage, and he also has a special limiter, which is quite annoying to get around, but we'll discuss more of it when we get to the final boss stage. Alright, so we've reached the final boss stage against Blackbeard. As I said, he does have a preemptive attack, he has a special limiter, he changes all of your orbs into block orbs, and he also has a chain debuff. Now this reduces your chain by a magnitude of 0.1, so you know, you really don't have a chain multiplier. So having a chain locker is going to be the best, you know, the best way to get around it specifically. But with this team, I'm using my Big Mom special ability, and that is it. Like legitimately, with all the color affinity boost that you get, the multiplier of Katakuri is just so goddamn high, and with just that special alone, able to clear Blackbeard for many navigation levels. This team will probably not need to be changed at all during the treasure map. So yeah, very straightforward for that specific team. But units that are going to help there, obviously Big Mom's quite good because she changes all of your orbs into the G orbs and then gives you a bunch of different boosts. And that's what's really going to help you out in this fight, is a unit that grants many differing effects to get around all the debuffs that Blackbeard has. That's going to be your best bet, and Big Mom is so good at doing that. But the annoying thing is in this treasure map, as I said in my preparation video, is that all the treasure map characters that we had previously, so you know, Big Mom, Ace, Sabo, Luffy, Whitebeard, Mihawk, all those old treasure map units that we've farmed are all now 1.1 times point boosters instead of 1.2 times point boosters. So I'm really not a big fan of that. I don't know why they decided to change it. It's really silly. Not a big fan of it whatsoever. And also the fact that we don't have many good special bind removers is just a combination of making this map absolutely terrible. But we're going to continue on here. With the next boss we can see that we're taking on is going to be a Whitebeard boss. Whitebeard is actually pretty straightforward. I think he's honestly one of the easier ones. You know, as long as you have Raid Zora maxed out, which if you don't have him maxed out, whenever he's out available next, make sure to go ahead and do that, because Raid Zora is honestly one of the best raid units in the entire game. Color affinity, damage output, with really good utility, removing Rainbow Shield and Threshold. He's just so good. So having Raid Zora is going to be very, very good for this fight. I'm using a double Cavendish team. You can see I've actually already gone ahead and super evolved my Cavendish into his 6-star plus form, because I've already got over 1.5 million points. But obviously normal Cavendish will work just as fine as well. If you want more points, double Kaido works better, but I just want to run Cavendish because Cavendish is so much fun. So we're going to get into this now, and we'll talk about Whitebeard once we get to the final boss stage. Okay, so now we've finally reached the boss stage against Whitebeard. Now, Whitebeard has a preemptive attack where he gives your crew a 1.1 times attack and orb boost, as well as applying 3 turns of Rainbow Shield % damage reduction. Now, there are actually a multitude of different units that can help out significantly here. Namely, Cavendish is the best one because he has type advantage. But also this Kaido is very good as well, because he has an ability where he removes all your beneficial buffs, as well as giving boosts, as well as doing a 20% health cut or a 10% health cut or something, which is very, very nice to have. So that's very, very good. But we're going to go ahead and use the Cavendish special ability here, which will go ahead and again remove all positive buffs, gives himself a massive attack and orb boost, guaranteed matching orb, which is great. And then this is where Raid Zora is so good, because his special ability not only removes the % damage reduction, but it also gives a color affinity to slashes and driven characters. So that is awesome for Cavendish, and he just deals so much damage. We can all use Galette here as well to make sure that he has a chain lock, so it makes clearing this boss much quicker, and we get more damage output against him. 10 million damage there with Cavendish. So this team really isn't going to have too many issues for a long time. If you are having issues with this, Friend Cavendish is what I would strongly suggest, because he just does so much damage. I would highly suggest doing that. But yeah, overall, having Cavendish and Raid Zora are the 2 most useful units for taking on the Whitebeard boss. So let's go ahead and move on now. How many points did I actually get from that? Yeah, pretty decent amount, 2.15, beautiful. Hopefully get some good pulls for my treasure map rare recruit tickets. I've done 2 of them so far, 2 gold tickets, and both of them were pretty bad. You guys will be seeing that in a future video once the treasure map has concluded. So let's go ahead and finish off this map here. Can we actually get the stam refill? Even though, you know, my stamina is pretty good, I always like to get the stam refill, so you use up less gems and stuff. Or the cooldown buff would be very, very useful to get as well. And we do get the cooldown buff. That's going to help out significantly for one of my teams, so that's beautiful. So now we can go ahead and move on to the battle rush with Nami. So the first boss we have to take down in the battle rush is going to be Brownbeard. So the team I'm using against Brownbeard is going to be the Invasion Shanks team. Basically, it's just a cerebral team. I do have Opera in here, which is not a cerebral unit. The main reason why he is here is because he just has a really good special ability. Plus, I have maxed his double special activation as well, which does make him, you know, very, very good. I can use him in multiple rooms for lots of AoE damage, because one of these stages on the fight against Brownbeard is absurdly difficult. Like, the mobs just have a lot of health for some unknown reason. But anyways, we're gonna go move on here, and I'll see you guys in the final boss room. Alright, so now we're at the boss stage now, which is going to be against Brownbeard. Now, Brownbeard does have a preemptive attack where he paralyzes your entire crew for 3 turns. And this is where Invasion Shanks is ridiculously useful here. Now, before actually moving on to the boss stage, I did use my Inu and Neku special from the friend. Now, you don't need to use friend Neko Inu at all. I just used it because it was there, and he's a really good cerebral slash striker captain. So it allows Opera to get a little bit of a boost. But I also used my Dofi special, so his the attack boost from Neko Inu is actually carried on into this room. Now, the reason for that is because if you use an attack boosting special here on this final boss room, he's going to blow away 2 of your characters permanently, so you cannot use any type of ability that gives you a type boost in this final boss room. Make sure not to do that. We can go ahead here and just use all of our specials now. We get a crap ton of damage output. Because we have an orb boost, we can also get the color affinity there. And we just do a bunch of damage there. Boom, 4.1 million damage with some single taps there. Very, very straightforward. But yeah, the most important unit here is Invasion Shanks. He's going to help you out significantly with not only removing the paralysis, giving you an orb boost, and also giving you beneficial orb enable. Just the perfect unit for taking on the boss Brownbeard. And now we're moving on to the last of these Battle Rush bosses, which is going to be against Rayleigh. So the team I'm using against Rayleigh is a fighter team, basically. The only unit that isn't a fighter on this team is the World Journey Ranger. But overall, like, this team's just reasonably solid. Actually, we could actually go ahead and use Jack. I think Jack is probably a better friend captain to use here, because I believe he's also a fighter, and he's a 3x captain, and he gives more EXP. So why not use Jack as the captain? I think that's a pretty good option. But anyways, I'll see you guys at the final boss room. Final boss stage now against Rayleigh. Rayleigh's kind of annoying because he'll go ahead and reduce all of your Sailor specials by 2 turns. So having Sailor abilities that rewind your specials, or having abilities that will go ahead and rewind them, are very, very useful here. You'll see we've got both of the World Journey units as well as Lore that will actually go ahead and rewind their specials automatically, which just makes it ridiculously useful here. I'm just going to go ahead and use the Sanji special, going to go ahead and use the Lore special, going to go ahead and use the Rager special, and we just get a lot of damage output from these special abilities here. 2x attack, 2x orb boost, and it's just a lot of damage. Then we can go ahead and kill him off. But the most useful thing here to note is that he does revive. Now, he only revives with about 20% health. He also has a % damage reduction ability as well. And this is where Invasion Garp is just ridiculously useful, because he can automatically kill Rayleigh upon reviving. So having Invasion Garp for this fight is going to be ridiculously useful. Very, very straightforward with Invasion Garp there, and Treasure Map Lore. So both of those units I'd recommend here against the boss Rayleigh. So now we can move on now to the final boss against Nami, which is where most of the troubles are going to come for most people. The Battle Rush bosses, honestly, are pretty straightforward. None of them are really too difficult, I would say, compared to some of the previous treasure maps. But yeah, definitely Treasure Map Nami, I think, is where a lot of people are going to struggle quite hard. 2.2 million points, beautiful. So here we go, final boss against Nami. The team I am using, obviously, is going to be a double carrot team here. This is the recommended team that I would suggest, or in terms of double carrot. If you have the Treasure Map Rare Recruit Chopper, or if you have the World Journey Cowboy Nami, they help out significantly here, as they are able to go ahead and remove the special bind on the final stage. You guys are going to see how we personally get around it, but it is a little bit more unorthodox in the way that we actually clear this final stage here. I was running a different team earlier on in the stream today, but someone did suggest this team to me, and it actually worked out pretty well. This team is not going to be a permanent type of team that is going to clear, you know, up to very, very high nav levels, because the only special we use on the final boss stage is actually the Colosseum Magellan, because Colosseum Magellan actually has a Sailor ability that removes 3 turns of special bind on himself, so it enables us to just go ahead and use his special on the final boss stage, which is very, very good. But, you know, when it gets a little bit more difficult and Nami ends up having more HP, we will have to shuffle the team around. The team I was running earlier today, I was running 6+ Rayleigh and also Colosseum Shiryu, and using both of those guys together to basically stall out the special debuffs that the special bind debuffs that Nami gives us. So here we are in stage 6. So stage 6 Nami, she'll go ahead and rewind our Sailor specials by 2 turns and gives us 5 turns of despair. We can go use our carrot here. Now, if you have a friend Captain Carrot, it is going to help out significantly here. Makes it so that you can use your special straight away, basically ignoring the debuffs that you get given from Nami here. And with the orb boost, we are pretty good here in just attacking, getting rid of Nami there. And now we move on to the final boss stage, which is going to be against this Nami. Now, the most annoying thing about Nami, as I said, is the special bind, but she also summons these homies. Now, each of these homies actually do different things. So the strength one on the left side will change all of your orbs into tandem and recovery. The green one in the middle, the most annoying one, paralyzes your crew for 3 turns. And then the one on the right hand side, the Psy one, he gives you increased damage taken debuff. So what we're going to be doing here, we're going to use our special ability of our Magellan, which will go ahead and remove the threshold, poisons and toxics them, also removes all their defense here, gives us a conditional boost. Like, Colosseum Magellan is just so useful here. And we actually have a full border matching orbs here. We actually can activate the Nami special ability, but it really doesn't help out all that much for us right now. So let's go ahead and attack and deal as much damage as we possibly can. And it should be enough to kill off Nami like that. There we go. So this will work for a decent amount of time, but you know, it will come to a stage where we'll have to shuffle the team around a little bit. But there we go. That is my run through of Treasure Map versus Nami. This is what I'll be running for a decent amount of time until, you know, that Nami team doesn't work and I'll have to shuffle things around. But so far so good, and hopefully reaching in the top 500. That's my aim for this treasure map. That's my aim for like most treasure maps. You know, top 500 will get me 2 additional Sugo Fest exclusive rare recruit pulls from the treasure map rewards, and that's what we're aiming for here as we reach our 2.35 million points. Gems, tablets, absolutely awesome. So there we go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the breakdown of the treasure map. If you guys did, make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below, and also hit the bell notification so you can go ahead and get notified whenever I upload a brand new YouTube video. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. But other than that, guys, I'll catch you guys within the next video.